everyone, welcome to this week's astrology. So this week's astrology will take us until around the 27th, 28th, okay? I've got notes on my notepad here, I've got notes on my phone, more or less all the same, because like you know, I pick up, I do also the energies and the themes. It's not just about astrological planet movement. So if you're new to the channel, I welcome you to subscribe, support the channel, and you get notified of all the readings and content. If you are on YouTube or TikTok and you follow me, you're a subscriber, thank you for doing so. And if not, and the work resonates with you, I welcome you to do so. I welcome you to like your videos, because those that get the more views, likes, comments, and I know your signs, if you're a subscriber, then I can put out the bonus content. I think a few days ago there was Leo, was it Cancer as well? No, not Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and there was another one, Gemini, yep. So it's worth doing that. And also I want to hear back on what readings you want. I did a daily themed guidance one of about 4 minutes a few days ago, probably 3 days ago. Check that out if you've not seen it. They are timeless. So with these, you might just sit down one day and want to look through them and take what resonates with you. There's a collective read that was done maybe a month or two ago that is still very relevant in our energy. So if you've not seen it, I would check it out. I'm just going to make a note to actually link that collective. And yesterday I actually placed an Astro update on the energies, okay? Post the moon, what we're feeling, and Monday, all right? So that energy of Jupiter being in sextile is still very relevant. Jupiter sextile Saturn is still very relevant. Now, throughout this week, the moon moves through Cancer, it's in Cancer today, to Leo, and then to Virgo. During the moon in Cancer, we can be up in our emotions, and Chiron is at play as well. So Tuesday in particular, and you'll feel it into Wednesday, as the moon moves throughout the day, during the morning hours, she's kind of forming a trine with Neptune. Now, this is an energy that is perfect for creative projects and spiritual activities. Be on guard Tuesday evening as the moon opposes Pluto. Only because this means there could be difficult emotions that surface, okay? So it doesn't mean be on guard because there's a major shift where you may, you know, Uranus is going to do an unpredicted something now. Try to manage your emotions rather than be controlled by them. Just honor if you are feeling that way, and this is why this weekly Astro and the Astro updates that I do, even the shorts, are really beneficial because they give you a heads up. And it's obviously a perfect time to be gentle with yourself. So I would just, that's kind of Tuesday. Now, as we move around the 21st, 22nd, it's moving, the moon moves into Leo, and that's more of a higher off energy. And then as we move into Virgo towards the end of the week, it's more about maybe you wanting to get things done off your to-do list. You might want to be wanting to organize yourself and spring clean, and maybe even declutter. Whatever comes around those themes is probably around the energy of the moon, okay? It's quite a grounded one, because when the moon is in an earth energy, it's grounded. The moon in Cancer is obviously, it likes being Cancer, it's its sign, but it can cause a lot of emotions, all right? And with Neptune, I would say, if those of you that do meditate or want to feel like you're getting into kind of deeper states of thoughts or meditation or silence, that's probably because of Neptune. And Neptune is doing an interesting dance this week. It's going kind of like back and forth, appearing and not appearing. And other dynamics that we have this week is that we've also got Ceres in Libra, and that's going to be towards the end of the week, where the focus is really going to be on our relationships. So if you feel like you're sort of pulled in terms of Ceres is an asteroid, yeah. So if you feel like you're pulled in terms of, is this relationship balanced? Am I giving more? Am I taking more? Really, those kind of dynamics and questions might come up. And as well as the other themes that I'm going to go into that are much larger. Juno is in Cancer towards the mid and end of the week as well, which is also around relationships, femininity. So the feminine, divine feminine might feel more expressive, might feel more vulnerable during this time, and you are really going to be looking also at your nurturing relationships. That is also a theme, not only with the moon, but as we head into Cancer season, which on the 21st I'm going to discuss. I feel like the 20th energy going into the 21st might be quite big. It might feel like a bit of a winter day. By that, what I mean is you might feel like you're not in summer solstice mood or dynamic, and you might be, because we've also got Mars in Leo. There's very big fixed energy this week because of Leo, which means that the fixed signs might be affected quite heavily. Intuitively, I'm also picking up that there's quite a bit of Sag energy, Sagittarius energy, because of what Sagittarius rules, and Jupiter. As well, we've got Neptune and Jupiter now. Pisces used to be ruled by Jupiter, it's now ruled by Neptune. So Pisces is also a mutable sign, but you might feel like the themes of Pisces, not necessarily Pisces is going to be affected, but around, you know, sort of illusions, daydreams, vivid dreams, that kind of stuff. Now, in the Astro update that I gave yesterday, I was talking about the major solar flares. So some of us are going to be with Jupiter sextile Saturn, are going to be feeling high vibing and yes, I'm ready for this week. And this week is got two main themes, which I'm going to go into, and you can use it in whatever way to best serve you. One second. So the other side of the solar flares is that you might have felt, I'd say from Saturday until now, you might have felt, and it's going to ease now because they've dropped a bit. It was mainly on the 18th going into the 19th for some, depending on your time zone, because the energies are felt up. Even when they start dropping, are felt up to a day after. And then we had the new moon, didn't we? So you might have felt like, you know, you was triggered some body aches. You could have felt like you got cold. I'm feeling major throat. So I feel like there's a lot of, I'm feeling tension throat into my head. So that I feel like there's, this week there might be quite a bit on expression. And that doesn't surprise me, because I'm going to tell you about the two themes as I wrap this up of this week, of how maybe you might be feeling or way you utilize your energy or the energy. But I'm feeling immense pressure in the crown chakra. And so this could also be to do with sort of downloads we're receiving. It could be to do with the mental energy of where Gemini was. Now, the new moon in Gemini that we had might have felt at the beginning like I said, it was a void, a gap. So you might have felt like you wanted to escape a little bit, to rest a little bit. You might have felt like you was in your head a lot. Some of you might have felt like you can't really focus. You might have ideas, but you can't focus and be productive. But like at the beginning of this week or now, hopefully you've had some breakthrough in terms of maybe the ideas, or maybe getting back on track of what the new moon might have brought you, especially wherever it's placed in your houses. Now, as well as Juno in Cancer, which is very nurturing, focused on the divine feminine, questioning maybe your relationships. Are they nurturing? Are they feeling safe? Very much similar to what I'm going to discuss around Cancer season. Vesta is in Gemini as well, and that could mean that if you're looking to take a course, it supports that. If you're looking to write, if you're a writer, it's going to be supportive energy. If you're looking into doing a strategy or a project or a plan, this could also be at work. If you put, for example, if you're a head of department or you develop the strategy for your team or whatever, it's going to be supportive in terms of that. There might be, it might be a good time for self-discovery, you know, really owning your passion and your fire for expansion. Interestingly, on my other platform where I do coaching for, you know, around fitness, the mind and the body, and this is the spirituality side of it, I did around seven prompts to self-discovery. I think it's 7 or 9 prompts to self-discovery, and really unmasking who you are, knowing and learning who you are. If you're interested in that, comment in the comment box below, and I will definitely give you the link to view that. It's kind of short. I think it's around 7 to 10 minutes long, but it's great if you want to sit and really just look at it, either ponder the questions to answer or write it down, or on an iPad. So they're the sort of the asteroids. Now, Mercury is doing an interesting dance back and forth this week as well. So at the beginning of the week, it's kind of like there. Mercury in Gemini is there. As it heads mid-week, it's Mercury sextiles Mars in Leo, and it's a great time to put where you've got like words of power into energy or action. So it also is a great time that this week, those of you that may feel like you are not valued, or you've got something to say about work or your place of work, or something around that you've not been expressing, this is probably the week where you're going to express that. You're going to be more vocal, and that's where probably the throat chakra I've been feeling. Interestingly, the crown is easing a little bit. It was quite intense a few minutes ago. I still feel it connecting to my throat. So maybe taking the ideas and expressing them. Now, Mars in Leo gets a lot stronger by the end of the week, sort of the degrees. And by the end of the week, Mercury then in Gemini actually squares Neptune in Pisces, which I'll go into. Let's just go back a bit. So Neptune going back and forth, where you hear me saying about Neptune, where it's maybe increasing its energy on certain days, can cause, people say, like hangover feeling. You know, you might feel fatigued, confusion, rose tinted glasses. You can't see and focus clearly. But as you can see, there's also the energies of like Jupiter sextile Saturn that is actually helping you focus and put into action. Saturn is about the lesson you've learned, and Jupiter is taking that, expanding that, and running forward with it. So when the Sun squares Neptune, coming to the midweek around the 21st as well, this is actually maybe where you're going to be feeling good, but you might feel like people are watering down your confidence, or you might be feeling like your confidence is getting watered down by people around you. if that happens, just be aware of it and don't lose sight of it, because again, you've got Jupiter who's helping you feel confident and driven, sextiling Saturn. Now on the 21st is Cancer season for the whole month. What does this mean for us? It's a short focus. It's going to be not a short focus, it's going to be a focus on your relationships. Where do you feel nurtured? Are you nurturing others? Do you feel safe? Are people making you feel safe? Are you making people feel safe? Because you'll be questioning it and they'll be questioning it. Do you feel safe at home? Do you feel supported? Do you feel supported by who's supposed to be supporting you? All those sort of dynamics. Are you nurturing yourself? Are probably questions where they're going to arise during Cancer season, and you're going to actually realize where maybe you want to put your walls up or your barriers up or boundaries in place. So that might be coming up for you. It gives you a boost to make sure that you put those in place where you might not be feeling safe or nurtured. And nurturing yourself, you're going to have a better feeling or want to nurture yourself during this time. Like for example, when it's a season of, it's not all the fire signs, and it's not always, but if it's a season of fire sign, it's sometimes about external, getting driven, doing things, etc. Cancer is pulling it back a little bit to yourself, to nurture yourself. So where normally maybe if you're very active, etc., you might be like, you know what, I today deserve a self-care day, I'm going to take the day off, or it's my weekend, I normally go to the gym every single day or 4 days a week. This day I'm actually going to take an extra day's rest, and I'm going to do what I want to nurture myself, to feel better, to rest, whatever it is. So that's maybe giving you a clear example, and I hope my examples help you as opposed to going through major degrees of movements. It's just helping us understand stuff. And if you're lacking of being straightforward in terms of what you feel you're lacking in your relationships, so by communicating what you need, be straightforward with it. You can be soft in the tone, but are you being straightforward with what you need? So sometimes we realize we don't feel safe or we're not getting what we want, but are we communicating that throughout? Are we communicating that? And as I'm saying also, that it's swelling up. So are we communicating our needs, or is the other person communicating their needs? Are you doing it in a manipulative way, intentionally or unintentionally? Is the other person doing it in that way? Those things you're probably going to be looking at. Now, I did mention about midweek Gemini, Mercury in Gemini sextile Venus and Leo, so powerful words that you're going to feel like you might want to put them into action and energy. And then we also have Mercury in Gemini on the 25th, squaring Neptune in Pisces. And this is, I think it also hits the 25th is not Sunday, it is Sunday. It hits its highest degrees on the 25th. This is really about putting the magic that you feel in terms of trying to get what you want from your life, where you feel like, I don't want to say where you've got superpowers, but where you feel like you're the magician in your life, or the manifester, or really of what you've been trying to work on. For some of you, it's going to be kind of looking at how you can do this into practical use or taking action on it. But the energy is not going to be, some astrologers will say, take that and put it into action. For me, I actually feel that with square Neptune, you're going to be feeling like you might still feel a bit daydreamy. Some of you might feel like you just want to take the weekend off, that you're not going to necessarily feel very action orientated. Now you might do, because there's still a bit of the aspect of Jupiter sextile, but that's, you know, it's the stronger energies around Mercury in Gemini squaring Neptune. Now, the other thing with this is kind of like, I think there's going to be clarity around where you've been delusioned by people, places, environments, or you've had sort of thoughts coming, but you're not seeing it clearly. This is going to turn around and you're actually going to see clarity around people, maybe epiphanies you've had and stuff like that. Neptune, like I said, can feel like a escapism, wanting to rest. So it's kind of like resting your weary head. If you've got the ideas, if you've got the intuition, if you've got the downloads and you have the energy to put them into action, go ahead. If you feel that they're just there, but you don't have the energy, receive and see what clarity also starts to come through, just in case Neptune is causing any foggy ideas as well. This week has two great energies, okay? Now, on the 30th, I just want to touch base on the 30th, and there's another date before that. 1 second. I think there's a date around the 27th. 1 second. And the reason I'm doing this or stating this is because the energies can be felt a day before and day after, and I always do an overlap in case, you know, depending where you are in the world. Just before I get on to the 30th, okay, there is a movement. Now, next week is going to be interesting because Mars and Venus this week are kind of near to each other, but they are not, they're not actually trining and squaring. But next week, Mars will no longer be working with Uranus, but Venus will. And I think that's going to be a very interesting dynamic. So yes, on the 27th of June, Mercury enters Cancer. And I will discuss that a lot more in next week's Astro. Next week's Astro takes us till 27th of 28th. So I'll discuss that a little bit more. And if I felt the energy heads up on the 27th quite strong, obviously I'll do a short before then. But Mercury in Cancer means it's moving away from Gemini and it'll be in Cancer, and we're also in Cancer season. So you can really expect it should be a good feeling of nurturing, but we'll look into it because there could be ramped up emotions or time, but ramped up not in a drama way that this week could have, more in your emotions, more sensitive. And then how are we going to work with Mercury in Cancer? What would Mercury be supporting in Cancer, and how will it support us? Now, on the 30th, Neptune goes retrograde, which is a bigger movement. And during Neptune retrograde, Neptune in Pisces retrograde, it's time to receive. It's not a time to act. You know, you might feel like, if you feel like acting, go for it. You may feel pressurized to act, but I'd say make sure if you do, you've got all the facts and you see clearly your ideas, your thoughts, whatever you want to act on. If not, receive, wait till you have all the facts, you're confident in it, and then take action. That's Neptune retrograde. But I will also dive into that a lot more next week in terms of Neptune retrograde. 1 second. I feel like there's something I've missed before I wrap up. yeah, just make sure you get all the ideas. Embrace your mystical side with that Pisces, and you're invited to get deeper into maybe your thoughts, not your thoughts mentally, but more on the intuition, spiritual side. And the reason I don't like to always say the spiritual meditation is because we don't all have that practice, and it doesn't mean that then this energy doesn't apply to you. It just means that you could even decide to sit for 2 minutes in silence, and that silence might bring you some ideas or might take you into a deep state of 2 minutes. Do you know when you drift off for a few seconds, sometimes you're like, wow, that felt a bit longer than 10 seconds or, 30 seconds. And so that's what you might be feeling. And with the transit, it's hazy and foggy. And practice patience, and you'll see the truth behind illusions, and that's why I say it's important to receive. So that's really covering about Neptune in Pisces. Obviously a good time for soul searching, maybe those prompts that I mentioned that I've done. So this week is really a great week for strutting your stuff, passion, reinventing yourself, having fun, but avoiding conflict and drama. And this could be you feeling that you want to go in it and bite people's heads or bite back, or it could be other people, so see where it's best placed. Now, it could be conflict ridden. So what I'm saying with that, it could be conflict ridden. It depends on you and the people around you, but the advice is then don't get caught up on the shadow side of this energy and movement this week, of fighting with people, getting caught up in drama, getting caught up in conflict, pettiness, lower stuff. There could be just people that are angry, and that could be coming from pain. A lot of anger comes from pain. And so it could be suppressed energy, and especially around family and mother and feminine energy. That is the theme this week. So it depends on how you're going to deal with it. It depends with people, and it can be very difficult to manage when you are being aware of yourself or the other person is, but you or the other person is coming at the person who's aware of themselves in an angry mode, or in a kind of lack of self-awareness where they've got suppressed energy or suppressed emotions, or just wanting to have a petty fight because whatever they're feeling. That's where you can be drawn into it, because it's difficult to manage. That does not mean to allow people to cross your boundaries though, but it's giving you the energy of where you can then decide what actually works best for you this week. That is the energy this week, and I'm going to be doing your elemental theme guidance and healing next week. The one that I did last week is still very relevant. Check it in the weekly astrology. I don't think many people have seen it, but it gives you inner healing work and guidance. It's time stamped as well, so you can see that and check that out. And what I did choose to do is I'm going to pull us a card to really see what we get this week. Just a card to see what we get this week. If you've enjoyed this, please do let me know. Split the deck. The Moon card. So I feel like that means the energy of the moon is still very relevant, but more so, although for me it's Pisces, there's something about the moon feels at home in Cancer. It's a sign, which is interesting because we're moving into Cancer season. And the moon, just like Cancer, is quite intuitive. And with this energy, what I really feel is when you fall into the moon's still waters and its energy, your inner wisdom will embrace you and push you towards light. Now, what can the moon give us? Why did I put the other deck above it now? Could have shown you it again. I feel sure it's in this half of the pile. Look at that. See the waters? So really, the moon card, right? Let's really discuss what the moon card is about. Illusions, hidden truths, not being able to see clearly. We've talked about this energy this week. I think it's very relevant. There's the nurturing side. It could be facing your fears, getting out into nature a little bit. Maybe if you're by the lake, if you're at the sea, mystery, metaphor, perception, uncertainty, dreams, vivid downloads. That's what it can bring about. But it can also bring about a bit of shadow, which is around fears that block you, not being able to see clearly, being in your emotions and not really understanding them, just feeling like I feel really overwhelmed with my emotions. It can also bring, with the vivid dreams, it can bring, I'm getting ancestral. Okay. So around the new moon, I felt a big ancestral energy theme as well. And some of you might have had dreams of past lives, but also like past memories and past loved ones, and also ancestral downloads coming in that maybe didn't even make sense. It's difficult sometimes to make sense of what we get, but it's the inability of processing that, mental confusion, maybe a bit of angst, maybe a bit of fear. And if we looked at the energy that I mentioned this week, everything I mentioned around conflict and drama of people is kind of caused about the shadow aspect of the moon that I just said. But dive into your healing, dive into this energy and breathe the past insecurities. Let the magic guide you back home to your soul. And Pisces, Neptune will definitely, I meant Neptune, not Pisces, but Neptune, it is in Pisces anyway, is definitely going to help with that deep diving. And then when it goes in retrograde, obviously we'll discuss that a bit further. But one thing you can say if you are feeling in that energy is, I am safe, I reach new levels of unconscious knowing as I surrender to the will of the universe. And that's what it is, you know, just take time back to receive. So the beginning of the week, quite high energy, apart from the solar flares that took us all off guard. Towards the end of the week, if you're feeling like you want to rest a bit more, that's fine. I'm feeling like I need to pull another card for the Four of Cups has come out. Knight of Wands. I was going to say for the other energy. And here we go. The Knight of Wands. Exactly what I meant, but the energy, motivated, driven, going after what you want, no longer sitting in I am not satisfied. You know, you're getting up, you're moving, you're putting into action. Towards the end of the week, you might feel the moon energy where you want to take some rest. That's kind of the energy wrapping up. You're not going to be sat like this feeling unmotivated, okay? You might be sat like this towards the end of the week saying, I'm taking some time out because either I want to listen to my emotions or I just want to navigate away from them for a bit and really enjoy some time off and rest and fun. The Knight of Wands, very motivated, passionate, going after what they want, getting out there and being adventurous as well. So it's lovely how that's actually wrapped up. Just pulling 2 cards where I said I want to actually pull for the other energy, and here we go. So everyone, if you enjoyed this week's Astro theme and you actually enjoy me pulling a couple of cards to also see sort of a collective message at the end, let me know. Don't forget, next week there'll be the new energy healing theme for your signs and guidance along the week. This week, check last week's, check the weeks before as well, because the energy is ongoing. Look out for those readings. Look out for the separate elemental energy spiritual guidance as well. Look out for your individual sign readings. Elemental check-in readings are coming up as well. And yes, let me know what else you want more of. There's a pick a card that's going to be coming up to help you during along with your readings as well. Do check that daily reading I did a couple of days ago. If you like that sort of theme, let me know, and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later in the week or in your readings. Bye for now.